President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said Egypt enjoys strong experiences in the field of mega projects. The president reiterated that Egypt's visions align with those of Mozambique on regional and international issues, adding that he agreed with Mozambique's President Philippe Nyusi on the necessity of achieving calm in Sudan and working to resolve the Ukrainian crisis through peaceful means. The head of state's remarks came during a joint press conference with Mozambique's president, which followed their talks in Maputo. President Sisi added that his talks with Mozambique's president focused on the significance of developing bilateral ties in all domains, adding that activating the work of the Joint Committee is considered a push for cooperation in investment, trade, exchange, and infrastructure fields. For his part, Mozambique's president noted that his talks with President Sisi covered regional and international issues as well as economic situation of both countries, adding that his country seeks bolstering its ties with Egypt. The head of state arrived earlier on Friday in Mozambique's capital, Maputo, the third and last leg of his African tour. He was welcomed at Maputo airport by Mozambique's president. Presidency spokesperson, Councillor Ahmed Fahmy, said President Sisi's African tour focuses on several pivotal issues, including enhancing bilateral ties in political, economic, and trade fields, as well as means of settling the African continent's conflicts and cooperation in many domains of mutual concern. Egypt was one of the first countries that recognized the independence of Mozambique in 1975 and opened an embassy in September of the same year. The Central Agency for Public Mobilization and Statistics Campus said that the trade exchange between Egypt and Mozambique reached $13 million in 2022 compared to $16.1 million in 2021. Egypt's exports to Mozambique reached $29.1 million during 2022, while imports from the African country reached $950,000 during the same year. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi urged member states of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA to exert more efforts to achieve regional integration in order to address the current challenges. The president's remarks came at the 22nd COMESA Heads of State and Government Summit in the Zambian capital, Lusaka. Details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi participated in the closing session of the 22nd Summit of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA in the Zambian capital, Lusaka. During the session, Somalia's accession to the COMESA was ratified after achieving progress on the security and stability levels thanks to the Somali National Army. And addressing the COMESA Summit, President Sisi expressed his content with the convention of the summit under the slogan of COMESA Economic Integration focusing on green investment, added value and tourism. The president said Egypt was honored to preside over the COMESA during the past 2 years, a critical time that witnessed important developments at regional and international levels despite the challenges. The head of state extended his appreciation to the Zambian president Hakainde Hichilema for hosting the summit, which was well prepared and organized. In his speech, the president reviewed Egypt's achievements during its presidency of the COMESA. Most prominent were working on economic integration and enhancing peace and security in order to boost the prosperity of COMESA member states. At the summit, President Sisi handed over the COMESA's rotating presidency to President of Zambia, expressing confidence that Zambia will exert all efforts to achieve the bloc's goals of economic and development integration. Turning back to our Panorama News, to the Air Forces, which announced the launch of the first edition of Egypt's International Aviation and Space Exhibition in May 2024. The Air Forces and world pioneers of the aviation industry are participating in the exhibition. Organizing the Aviation and Space Exhibition comes in light of the Armed Forces' keenness to hold major events and international gatherings in the fields of defense and military industries in the country. Egypt welcomed the efforts of the 6+6 Joint Committee formed by Libyan House of Representatives and the Supreme Council aimed to prepare laws of the Libyan elections. Egypt also expressed its appreciation For Morocco's hosting of the activities of the committee, the Foreign Ministry urged the Libyan House of Representatives and the Supreme Council to resume its role in accordance with a Sukhayrat agreement, with the aim of holding presidential and parliamentary elections as soon as possible to achieve the aspiration of the Libyan people. The Foreign Ministry called on all parties involved in the Libyan crisis to support the ongoing efforts to implement the targeted goals and restore stability in Libya. Egypt's stock market indices retreated during last week's sessions, losing £2.2 billion. The market's capital for companies listed in the worst reached £1.136 billion, losing 0.2%. The bourse's weekly report showed that the benchmark EGX 30 index lost 0.07% to reach 17,521 points, while the median capped EGX 70 rose by 11.03% to reach 2,652.5 points. The broader EGX 100 gained 8.23% to reach 5,333 points.